Did a US ally quietly help protect Iran during the 40-day war, even as Washington was piling pressure on Tehran? Were Afghanistan and Pakistan deployed along their own frontiers to stop armed groups from slipping into Iran? Was Washington effectively betrayed during the war, as Islamabad helped Tehran secure its borders and kept diplomacy alive? Has Pakistan now been exposed for helping Iran first, only to later join a new defense bloc with Tehran's regional rivals? Is that new trilateral agreement the real reason Iran's hardliners are now turning sharply against Pakistan? On August 8, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said armed groups had tried to enter Iran during the 40-day conflict. According to Pezeshkian, these infiltration attempts were aimed at Iranian border posts across the northwest and southeast, apparently seeking to open new internal pressure points while Iran faced war outside its borders. Pezeshkian said Pakistan and Afghanistan deployed forces along their frontiers, helping prevent armed groups from using neighboring territory as a launchpad for attacks inside Iran. Both neighbors, he said, made clear that their soil could not be used to fuel instability in Iran, a message that gave Tehran a vital layer of border security during the conflict. On diplomacy, Pezeshkian called the United States untrustworthy, reflecting Tehran's continued suspicion after the conflict, but he did not close the door on future negotiations. The Iranian president argued that the current moment still offered the best opportunity for a deal, despite the deep mistrust between Tehran and Washington. These comments come as Pakistan's role between Washington and Tehran has become far more complicated. Pakistan had earlier helped broker the April ceasefire and hosted direct US-Iran talks in Islamabad, the highest-level face-to-face engagement between the two sides since 1979. However, Pakistan has now joined Saudi Arabia and Turkey in the Mecca Joint Defense Pact, a move that has triggered unease among Iranian hardliners despite Islamabad's mediation role. The agreement treats an armed attack on any one of its three members as an attack on all, creating a collective defense commitment just as regional tensions remain high. Turkey, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan signed a mutual defense agreement in Mecca on August 7, bringing their leaders together amid heightened regional turmoil and security concerns across the Gulf. The pact unites three major Sunni Muslim powers that each retain important, though very different, relationships with the United States, combining Saudi financial influence, Turkish military-industrial capacity, and Pakistan's armed forces. Notably, none of the three states maintains full diplomatic relations with Israel, creating a rare security grouping of US-linked powers that remains politically separate from Washington's closest Middle Eastern partner. Turkey, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed the deal amid a widening Gulf crisis, with regional states facing attacks, threats and growing uncertainty following the confrontation between Iran, the United States and Israel. Turkey brings NATO's second-largest military by personnel. Saudi Arabia contributes immense Gulf influence and defense spending, while Pakistan adds a battle-tested military and the only nuclear arsenal in the Muslim world. Riyadh has been seeking to deepen security cooperation with key partners as it looks for stronger deterrence and more reliable regional arrangements beyond traditional dependence on Washington. At the same time, Saudi Arabia has raised alarm over growing regional threats from Iran-aligned groups, particularly as maritime, missile and drone risks have increased across the Gulf and Red Sea. However, the full text and operational details of the agreement were not immediately released, leaving open major questions about joint command, deployment obligations, intelligence sharing and the exact meaning of mutual defense. Saudi Arabia and Pakistan already signed a mutual defense pact in September 2025, stating that aggression against one country would be treated as an attack against both, making Turkey's inclusion a potentially major expansion. Pakistan has provided training, advisory support, and technical military assistance to Saudi Arabia for decades, creating an established defense relationship that the 2025 pact and new trilateral deal now deepen. Pakistan has reportedly deployed around 8,000 troops, a fighter squadron, drone units, and a Chinese-made HQ-9 air defense system to Saudi Arabia under its mutual defense arrangement with Riyadh. Turkey and Pakistan have built extensive defense ties through training, naval cooperation, aviation exchanges, weapons development and joint exercises, giving the new framework a base of existing military interoperability. Saudi Arabia agreed to purchase Turkish Bayraktar drones in a deal described as Turkey's largest defense and aviation export contract, with technology transfer and joint production also included. Turkey's possible return to the F-35 program is another major development Israel will monitor, although Washington has not made a final decision and U.S. law still requires Ankara to meet conditions related to its Russian S-400 system. The reported deal would open the door for Turkey to procure F-35A jets from the United States. Turkish journalist Abdülkadir Selvi was among the first to report the S-400 transfer story. Turkey was expelled from the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter program in 2019. The exclusion followed US-Qatar sanctions over Ankara's purchase of Russian S-400 batteries. Turkey's S-400s have largely sat in storage due to NATO interoperability and intelligence sharing concerns. Washington has worried that S-400 systems could collect data on Western stealth aircraft signatures. Trump has recently signaled a willingness to ease Qatar restrictions and reopen the door to F-35s for Turkey. Israel has openly raised alarms about any deal that would significantly boost rival Turkey's air power. Potential Gulf buyers such as the UAE and Qatar have not yet formally confirmed plans to purchase Turkey's S-400s.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.